Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Landy Lodge. And today's episode is going to zero in on the Pokemon Sword and Shield DLC, Crown Tundra. But before we get to that and our delightful guest, we first have some people we need to thank. That being the sages of the Lodge, those who donate monthly to the Lodge and keep us rolling and bring these episodes coming to you every week. So big shout out to Alex Pamal, Shane Thomas Driscoll, Chris Perkowski, Corey Barchat, Scott Castellano, The Family, Andrew Parker, Nick Taborski, Charlotte Astry, Kevin McBride, Michael Fay, Richard Arnold, Dan Muller, Andrew Clay, and today's guest, an honorary sage of the Lodge, Mr. David Freese. What's going on, dude? Welcome back.
What's up, bro? How we doing? We doing good? We playing a little bit?
We're playing. There's a lot of great games that I'm ripping right now, and I have to say, just as a starter, you know, you and I have done episodes on Pokemon Sword and Shield. You know, we're very critical of the base game, but we still found ways to enjoy it. We definitely enjoyed Isle of Armor. I think we both agreed that was better than the
right direction. Yep.
And I just want to get your take. I'll come out with how I feel. I think that the Crown Tundra is not only better than the base game, but it's even miles better than Isle of Armor. And this should be the direction of the future. But now, give me your take with a little bit more depth.
So, I like it a lot. I definitely like it better than the Isle of Armor. The map, I believe, is more expansive, and it's interesting how you go south and it gets all like cold and shit, but instead of it just the different locations you get to see, and just the new Pokemon and the way the Pokemon interact with you now is just like miles ahead of what we got in that base game. And it kind of upsets me that they could do this the whole time, yet they didn't. And in retrospect, it hurts the game for me a little bit.
Yeah, that's one of the downsides, is that you see that, you know, it's not like they made this DLC 2 years later. Like, this was made right after the game was launched. And it's like, oh, so you were capable of this the whole time. You just didn't make it happen the first time.
Exactly. So they kind of just like, you know, they pushed it off to the DLC. They let the game come out. And I can only assume that it's like a Game Freak Nintendo thing where it's like, all right, we got to get another Pokemon game out. We got to get another Pokemon game out. We got to get another one out. Which,
well, you and I have been very vocal about, we're perfectly fine waiting for longer if it means getting a better product.
Yeah. That's why I think there's no real game coming out this year. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Usually they do like some kind of game every year, or there's nothing coming out for, you know, December, nothing coming out for this. And I guess it's because of this DLC, but honestly, in my opinion, like, they knowingly withheld all this content that they knew they could have made, and instead of putting it out.
I think it's worth mentioning that I don't think this was anything necessarily nefarious on the developers' part. I think this is just the victim. I think this is not the victim, but this is the consequence of tight deadlines from men in suits.
Yes.
You know? And I think that needs to change. I think there needs to be a cultural change inside Game Freak, and hopefully 100%. This DLC is the start of it. Me personally, I haven't finished the story. Cards on the table, I've gotten up to the part where you see the 3 legendary birds and they disperse. But let's start with the things that I've covered, and you'll carry us from that point on. Let's talk about those legendary battles.
Oh my God. How much fun are those things? The legendary
Incredibly fun and incredibly strategic for Pokemon standards, but still, it's a real mix-up from just using your jacked up Pokemon.
Exactly. Like, I at first I was kind of upset that you weren't allowed to use your own Pokemon, because you've been playing with them the entire game, and, you know, you built your team and you built up all your... But it adds that other, like you said, that layer of strategy where you can't just bring in, like you said, your freaking tank that could
Yep.
just freaking mow down all these guys. So, and what's really interesting is that you don't have to necessarily keep the legendary. You could keep whatever Pokemon you catch on the way
Yep.
or whatever, and they're all guaranteed catches. So it really just wants you to use that strategy. Go with your friends like you, me, and Charlotte did
Dude, that was a
last week.
blast.
It was a lot of fun. We
Well,
did it
I
for
like that
hours.
there seems to be a focus. This is one of the things I actually think Game Freak's doing right, is there seems to be a focus on, okay, how do we get people to play Pokemon with their friends?
Right.
Instead of beyond just battling. You know what I
Right.
mean? Whether it's these raid battles or these legendary battles, there's now avenues for us to work together. You know, we don't
Yes.
always have to face each other or trade with one another. We now have these game modes where we can work together. And I think that's a really cool thing inside Pokemon.
I'm very curious to see how they move forward doing that, because Game Freak and Nintendo and the Pokemon Company, they're known for doing these gimmicks for one generation and then forgetting about them. So I'm very curious to see how they do that moving forward. But this is a great freaking like step here, like
Huge.
going through all those you know those Dynamax layers, like and just the random Pokemon you could just bump into. You know what I mean?
That, and I want to say one more thing, sticking with the legendary battles. One thing I actually do love about the fact they force you to use other Pokemon is one of the things I'm very guilty of. And you know, whether no matter what generation it is, when it's a new generation, I'm guilty of, I find my party of Pokemon that I love, I kind of stick with them, and I don't get to really know the new generation of Pokemon or generations outside of what I've played. By being forced to use these different Pokemon that are really, for the most part, outside of my choosing, I'm learning and committing to memory more Pokemon from these new generations. And I think that's a very good idea for your player base to not just know the 6 Pokemon in their party, like not just know Bolton, right? Get to know all these Pokemon that you either missed out on in previous gens or missed out on this gen. I think there's something very cool about that.
Oh yeah, it's the name recognition where you're forced to encounter these things and forced to even like use and play with these Pokemon. So you, like you said, you have to learn. And what's also cool is that it's not like when you're using those rental Pokemon, they have like their 1 or 2 stab moves. They have a nice variety of moves, so you could use them in different situations. And they know you're going to need to maybe use a flying Pokemon against a rock Pokemon. That's why they'll give you close combat or something. Or you have to use a grass Pokemon against a fire Pokemon. They'll give you Earthquake. Something like that. Like, you can potentially use these Pokemon for different situations.
And you know what else I like? I like that you can't use items in the legendary hunts. It's all just battles, no items. Love that.
Straight strategy, and that's why it helps, because I've played it with you and Charlotte, and I've also played with like random people online, and it's really frustrating when you're not able to talk to these people and like decide what you want to do, because I ran into a situation recently, maybe 2 days ago, where we were in a den and everyone else was at perfect health, and for some reason my Pokemon got the shit beaten out of it. It had like 3 health. So I caught the Pokemon to replace it, and I went to replace it, and this other random guy says, "No, I want it," and he's got perfect health, and he gets it because it chooses randomly whoever gets it. And so I'm stuck there like, oh shit, I'm gonna fucking die. And it's frustrating. So, you know, if there was like a way to maybe talk to these other people that you get randomly put to, but even then they're from around the world, so you might not even understand what the hell they're saying. And
that's true. Maybe perhaps the game could benefit from a little bit more in-game communication, having some sort of vehicle for communicating. Yeah, I'm fortunate enough where the only time I've done legendary battles, it's with people I know.
Right.
So I haven't had
And
that problem.
that's where its real strengths are. Real strengths are you and your friends going after these legendary Pokemon.
And it's great because there are just some Pokemon, there's some legendaries you're not going to get unless you have a team of 4 or a lucky team of 3.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Some
Like
of
when we
those
fought
matches
that
we got
Zygarde.
were tough.
Come on.
That
Come
was
on.
insane.
We went through it how many times to get Zygarde, and it
3.
kicked our ass
3
every
times.
time.
We got close once, but still, no cigar.
Once it transforms, it's like fucking.
Oh,
it's
forget about it.
over. It gets
Forget
like full
about it.
health back, and then it's like insane. But you know what? It challenges you. You know.
Yes.
In the way the base game really didn't until you fought Leon, and that was probably the most challenging fight in the game.
Also, like the stories are more important in both not more important, but I don't know. I guess that's up for debate. I don't really know. But the stories are more engaging in Isle of Armor and Crown Tundra, you know? And I feel like the cutscenes, there's more effort there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's actual like facial expressions of
right.
characters. Like
you don't see, you don't get into a situation and then Leon says, "Oh, I'll go handle it. You continue on your thing." It's like, no, I want to be a part of it.
Exactly. Let's talk about the exploration of the map.
Sure.
It's a big hub.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's pretty big.
With a lot of different locations too.
Oh yeah, and it's much bigger. Much bigger than Isle of Armor. Am I crazy?
Yeah.
I feel like it's way bigger.
I don't know. It definitely seems bigger, but when you maybe think about it, maybe it's not. But I think it is, in my opinion.
So too.
But honestly, like the variety that you get in it,
it's a diverse map.
Mm-hmm.
That is for sure.
The cold
and I love the design. I love the big. What do they call it? What's the big pink tree? What's the name of that?
It
has like a funny name.
I can't remember.
Well, let me say, I love how goofy and campy they're being.
Oh yeah.
It suits the brand.
Like
it just suits them. I'm sure there's some people who roll their eyes or cringe at it, but like it suits the world. Like it's a silly world at the end of the day. And I like that they seem to be letting themselves be a little bit sillier.
Yeah, and you know it's really freaking silly, and it's such a freaking troll. I don't want to. It's not a really big spoiler, but after you see those birds come for the tree, you can go up to that tree and shake the tree a couple times,
and it does nothing.
No, it does. If you shake it a couple times,
I shook it like 4 times.
You keep going, and that big squirrel Pokemon comes down.
Oh, Squabble or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. And it's a Dynamax battle.
Oh my god!
It's fucking hysterical. It's like, okay, I didn't want this thing, but okay. And you get all these berries from it too.
I'm sure once you're done.
It's so funny because like no one wants that thing. That's like the shittiest Pokemon they introduced. I don't think
it was the Rattata of the generation.
I don't think but at least you get people who use like Raticate and
facts. Good point.
That freaking squirrel is like the bane of my existence.
Squavit. I think that's it. Yeah. Squavit. Took me a second to get it.
Oh my god! But okay, so you said you got to the birds, and then
I got to the birds, and I thought that cutscene was awesome. It wasn't much. They didn't need to do much, but I like the presentation style. You know what I mean?
Like you naturally discover what the hell is going on, and then like it's not like forced down your throat. Like these are the legendaries, and these are the birds that have been traveling all over. Blah 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 blah. Like you naturally and what's the word? Whatever, but you find them on your own, and that's what I like about it. A lot of this, like with the legendary hunting, it's a lot about hunting and tracking things down.
And
and using your mind to kind of figure out these puzzles, and it's such a huge step for them, and I'm so excited to see if they do another DLC, because there are rumors that they might do another DLC.
because money. If it's a
Right.
quality product, we're not complaining. But here's
Right.
the thing. I'm glad you brought that up because, for a franchise whose catchphrase has been "Gotta catch 'em all," is it me or have the games always just focused around being the best, like being the
Yeah.
strongest, being the champion? Like it just seems like that was always the focus, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I finally feel like, and I actually think Sword and Shield has had this idea in mind from the beginning, and this is why something like the wild area exists.
Hmm.
But I think now it's becoming much more about the hunt, much more
Yes.
about really about gotta catch them all, not just about being the best like no one ever was. It's like both are happening at the same time, and you see
Hmm.
this reflected in the new anime where both protagonists each have that individual goal. One
Yep.
is like the hunter, the I guess
I
the
want to catch every
catch them
Pokemon.
all. Other
Yep.
one wants to be the best. And I
Hmm.
like that because now
It's the
I feel like
duality
now
of
there's going to be
Pokemon.
two types of trainers in the Pokemon world,
Hmm.
right? Like maybe you're the type who wants to be the very best, and I'm the type who wants to catch them all. Maybe I want
Right.
you or some shit. I like that because in a very D&D fashion, it's now up to the player to choose what their class is. What kind
Yep.
of trainer are you?
Do you want the variety, or do you want that freaking high power, sticking to your 6-person team and not really worrying about that? Uh, I can't say which side I'm on, because recently with the games they've made it, since at least from what I remember, Gen 6, Gen 7, they have started to make more of an emphasis on catching, and they've offered such wide varieties of Pokemon, and such a streamlined way to make them strong and viable and usable
Mm-hmm.
in your battles during the story. So I find myself, I recently played Ultra Sun, or Ultra Moon.
Mm-hmm.
I found myself rotating between like 10 different Pokemon, and it was great to be able to do that. But then you see Sword and Shield and you get all these experience candies, and you can have like teams of 12, 13, 14, and I have boxes full of Pokemon that I could just use in any situation. And it's really, really cool to be able to use the variety that they've been pushing on us.
I think so too, because now I don't think it's enough to have a team of 6 that can kick some ass. I
Mhm.
think you now need to have a strong box because
Mhm.
whoever your opponent is going to require a different strategy,
Of
whether it's a
course.
trainer in the game or it's a trainer in real life.
Right. So, and what's also cool is that, the Pokemon themselves have such interesting types now. You have the rock and fire, you have like water, grass, you have like these interesting combinations where you can't.
Psychic, electric.
Right, you can't just go into like the grass gym and bring a fire Pokemon, because it'll get its ass kicked
Yeah, you're
by
going to need
the
a flying
Ludicolo or something.
Pokemon. Like you're going to need
Right.
all those different advantages at once to account for all the counters that you might run into.
Exactly. So you need that variety, and what's really cool is that they're really offering it now. They really are. It's not just, you're not getting a bunch of just fire Pokemon and a bunch of just water Pokemon. They have, you know, electric ground. They have steel ground. They have poison dragon. They have like all these things that like.
Well, what I like about it now is like it was always silly back in the day where you would battle these trainers and it was like, oh, I'm the fire trainer and I've got nothing but fire Pokemon. And I'm the bug trainer and I got nothing but bug Pokemon. It's like just pick your type advantage and then you squash the whole trainer. But
Right.
now it's like you could seriously be like a fire trainer and just have all those like blends, all those fusion types
Fire bug, fire flying, fire.
to account
Well,
exactly to
right.
account for all of those type disadvantages you might run into.
Hmm.
It's really kind of cool. And one thing I
Yeah.
want to see them keep doing is specific. I love what they've been doing in the last couple generations, where it's like older Pokemon have different type forms in different regions.
Oh, so cool.
That up too.
So cool. I wish it wasn't just Gen 1 that got a lot of them, but you know, like give me a Galarian like
A Noctowl
or something.
some shit,
Noctowl, yeah, like these other
like a
Pokemon.
psychic ghost Noctowl. I'm in.
How crazy would that be?
Yeah.
So cool, and it's like it only comes out at night, and like it can flip its whole head upside down. How creepy would that be?
It would be fucking incredible. Now, I want to ask you something. One of my favorite things about Crown Tundra is that getting from place to place requires running through wild areas.
Yes.
Do you think that linear path Sword and Shield set us on, where it's just routes, do you think that's dead? Do you think that concept should be dead?
I think so. In canon, they have introduced that like the gym leaders use certain Pokemon depending on how many badges you have. So like,
yeah,
Brock's team isn't necessarily just the Geodude and the Onix at level 9 and 12 or whatever. They're actually like, you could see in other games.
Oh, it's setting it up for open world.
Right. So if you could be able to like go to the different gyms and like, right. So you could go into the wild area and maybe choose this gym that you might.
They'll all be leveled out.
Right. If you can scale all of them like that and go through the wild area or a new part of the wild area to get to the next town or whatever, I think that's the way to go.
My lord, that kind of just blew my mind.
Right?
They'd be stupid not to do that.
Right?
They'd be stupid not to do that.
Imagine a game where you decide wherever the fuck you want to go, and you get the different whatever gym you want to start against. So maybe like you start off with the fire starter, and you want to get that first gym done real quick. So you go, okay, there's a bug trainer over there. Let's go take him out.
This solves so many problems. Because like you just brought up, now it doesn't matter what starter you pick. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make the beginning easier or harder. It just changes your path. Mm-hmm. And I like this too, because one of the things that always kind of takes you out of the experience is like, is Brock a gym leader who's really that big of a pussy? Where it's like bug trainers on Mount Moon could take him out. Where it's like, you've had your Pokemon for a day and you're already beating them. No. But now they found a way that makes it a little bit more immersive, way more believable. It's like, oh, you're a new trainer? Well, then let me get the new trainer set. You could battle these Pokemon.
Yep. And that just leaves you with so many options and so many different and that's what the direction this franchise needs to go into. You really go on your own adventure, and it might not be the same as the one as your friends go on, but you know what? You all reach the same place.
Exactly, dude. Exactly. I couldn't agree with you more. They'd be foolish not to go down this road. I just think it's worth saying. It's like, even though Sword and Shield, I don't want to call it a miss, because I have thoroughly enjoyed my experience with it. It left me wanting more. That is for sure.
And with the DLC, it added to its longevity.
Big time. Let's just be honest and tell me if you disagree. I think it's leagues better than Sun and Moon, though.
Yeah. I will say I think I enjoyed the story in Sun and Moon a little bit more.
The story is definitely better in Sun and Moon.
Because I feel like the story in Sword and Shield is the gym challenge, but you see all this stuff is going on in the background, but they don't really,
and no one's a legitimate threat in Sword and Shield. That's the problem. What was her name? Lusamine?
Yes.
What a creepy ass woman, bro.
Right, exactly.
The devouring mother of Pokemon. Like that's some archetypal shit. Like that's cool shit. Could have been delivered better. But the ideas, like
Uzma, who has the Glisopod that, if you're not careful, will take out your entire freaking team.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You get those menacing villains, and then you get to this generation, you get Chairman Rose, where he doesn't really do anything until the end of the game.
Yeah,
You know?
he didn't feel like a legitimate threat. Whereas,
No.
like, Lusamine was always concerning. Like, you kind of have that first conversation with her, and she's
Mhm.
like, "Yeah, I want to be the caretaker for all Pokemon and shit like that." And you're like, "Oh,
And
big
you could
time,
see
like,
that.
big time collectivism there. That's potentially dangerous."
Mhm.
You see that slowly like kind of build, and then when she kind of shows her colors at the end, she gets freaky, and then
Yep.
it's
And
just
then she gets like controlled by
yep.
that Ultra Beast, and it gets really
You
cool.
watch the
But
control freak become controlled, and it
hmm
just adds a layer of creepy. It's like, oh no, she was just being primed to be a vessel this whole time.
exactly.
You know, like there's none of that in Sword and Shield. Like
No,
everything we just went over, like there's none of that here.
no.
Um,
And I like that they made the gym challenge like more important, and like you got the
yes,
fans. Like I think that's cool, but you need more substance in there. You
you
know.
do. You really
Uh,
do.
so I won't say that it's necessarily better or worse than Sun and Moon, but it's definitely different, and there are definitely things that I think it did better, and things I definitely think it did worse.
I think as a game, it's better. That's
Okay.
that's my opinion. I think playing the game itself, because like, dude, I got to the end of Sun and Moon, I put it down, and I literally never picked it up. Scratch that. I did pick it up to get my Psychic Raichu into the Pokebank, but
Yeah.
like, I put it down, never picked it up. Even when I beat base game Sword and Shield,
Mhm.
I picked it up to go run around the wild area and catch a bunch of Pokemon.
There
So
you
to
go.
me, it's like I think Sword and Shield was just the better product.
Oh
Again,
yeah.
still lacking in a lot of areas, but I picked it up after the story was done,
Yeah.
and I can't say I did that with Sun and Moon. I literally put it down and never went back.
I don't blame you. Well, then, did you ever get to the red and blue fights, the battle tree?
The battle tree, yes, but it never quite engaged me. I didn't care enough. See, that's
Okay.
the thing. And maybe this is where the diversity of trainer thing comes in. It's like
hmm
that continual striving to just like be the strongest trainer wasn't quite there for me. But the idea of running around a wild area and catching hundreds of
Oh yeah.
Pokemon,
Oh
that
yeah.
was really appealing to me. That was like, yeah, let's go explore. Let's go run
And what's
around and
really
find
cool
some
is
cool shit.
a lot of those Pokemon that you find in the raid dens, those are like actual like viable Pokemon too. It's not like
Yes.
they have shit stats that you couldn't use most of the time. If you're doing a Pokemon in the lair, it's got at least one or two like best stats.
At least.
So I think they did a great job with the customization, I guess, and you
Yeah.
could and the collectathon, I guess, if you want to do that.
Yeah, and I do think actually, now that you brought up like customization, I love that, decorating your avatar is always a nice touch.
Mm-hmm.
Like no matter what game you play, decorating your avatar is always a nice touch. I think they did that great. One thing
And
I
they
want to
did they
see,
did so much more in this game with that too.
one thing I'm disappointed with though is how come in fucking Let's Go we could ride on the back of a Pokemon, but here in Sword and Shield we can't.
It's frustrating.
It's like, come on, we could have. We
hmm
could have.
Like in Let's Go, how you got on your freaking Arcanine and just freaking went.
Dude, hell yeah, how cool is that?
Awesome.
Little
Awesome.
touches like that. See, more little touches like that is what I want to see in this series.
And I like that they added the following Pokemon back in
Yes.
in the isle, but like those mechanics are so weird. Like they disappear and then
Very
they
weird.
come back and then like show up behind you. It's like how Pokemon show up in the wild area, and that's another like criticism I have, which
Yeah,
is
I
like,
hate they're just like popping in and out of existence.
it's weird. It's weird how like you can just move like 2 steps and then there's a Pokemon right there. Um, but if I could just ride my fucking Pokemon again,
For
come
real.
on.
For
You
real.
did it. You gave it to us, and then they just took it away.
But like you said, they're guilty of doing this where they'll come up with a gimmick, a gameplay gimmick, and then completely abandon it.
Constantly.
Like we know,
But
Dynamax ain't coming back. Like,
no. Maybe for those Sinnoh remakes that might be coming, but I would hope.
Gen 4 is one of those gens I missed that I really want to play one
Oh,
of these days.
oh, it's freaking, at least Platinum. My big issue with that whole generation is that it's very slow. You move very slowly. You interact with the world very slowly. Surf is like a fucking torture because you go like a freaking step so slow. But God, I was so immersed during the quarantine when I played Platinum. I was just so invested because they bring out like you get to know all the characters. You get to like I think that was to me where the story was the best. Where you could go and do a bunch of different things and you still feel like your own character, but you also still feel like you're building towards something.
And you know something? One thing that's a real shame, is if you look back at the handheld games, at least for the first 4 generations, right? I didn't get around to Gen 5 and 6. I've played 7 and 8, but missed 5 and 6. Those sprites are beautiful. Like, even going back to the Game Boy Color, like those still sprites of the Pokemon all looked awesome for their time. It's like Pokemon, believe it or not, graphically, for a long time, was at the forefront of gaming. And if you think I'm lying, just remember that Pokemon Stadium was a thing. Okay? And like back then, those were some of the craziest graphics we had in gaming. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, they need to recapture that. I'm sorry. Look, I understand I don't need it to look like Skyrim, okay?
No.
But like, can you be artistic about it?
You can't have double kick just be like, and they're not even making contact.
Exactly. And like my thing is, it's like, come on, this is the Nintendo Switch. Look how beautiful Breath of the Wild looks. Okay. And like, I know that's like the cliche thing to bring up, but it's like, all right, look how Fire Emblem looks. You're telling me
how Odyssey looks.
Like we couldn't get Pokemon to look this way. Like there's no scales on the Charizard. Like we're still going to go flat orange. Come on. We could go a little step further. We don't need top of the line or at the forefront.
No.
Could we at least be the average?
Right. I agree. And give us those freaking move animations where like if you're kicking the Pokemon, run up and fucking kick it.
Yes, please.
I'm so sick of like those stock animations of every Pokemon doing that one move, and then like flamethrower comes out of here.
Yeah, it's so stupid. Meanwhile, in Pokemon Stadium, you would see like flames slowly immerse from like a Pokemon's mouth and then fan outward. It was like, you know, and it's like, hey guys, we used to be kind of at the forefront of this stuff.
Even Battle Revolution on the Wii, it was like brilliant. Like you would get Blaziken run up and kick, or you'd get like the Dragon Claw going in and freaking and that game came out 14 years ago. Like,
and like, look, if you're playing Pokemon, you're not in it for the combat. I'm sorry. If you are, you need to go play some other games. But you're not really into it for the combat. The combat can be fun, don't get me wrong, but it's not the biggest draw of the series. No. So it's like, you do need to do your due diligence with everything surrounding it. Like, one thing they've never messed up is the music. The music of Pokemon is always solid. But that's the point. If you're not trying to push the envelope with your combat, you got to make everything around it up to par.
If you're not going to change the mechanics, you have to change just the look of it.
Put the scales on the Charizard.
The feel of it. Like
our texture is that much to ask for. That's why another thing they need to do is, hey, time for some voice acting.
Oh yeah, like when you battled Pierce in that city where he was the punk band, and he's just gonna go like into the mic, and there's no words coming out. It was weird. It was weird. That level of disconnect was
Also, I liked Team Loud at first, but I've come to realize how forgettable they truly were.
Well,
Can't
they
do
weren't
that
just
again.
the evil
No more
team.
nerfing the enemy. I think that's Sword and Shield story's biggest issue is you nerf the. I'm tired of the friendly rival. Enough. Like rivals should be the anti-hero. That's what works. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's what makes rivals
Silver,
likable.
Blue, even Barry. Barry was your friend, but he would kick your ass in
He was
Gen 4.
competitive.
Right.
And we need a Team Rocket. You need a Team Plasma. Like, you need it. We need arch nemesis. Like, that's important. That's important.
You can't have this guy show up and decide to do something evil after you've like done all 7, 8 badges, and there's like no, oh, we've got Eternamax, whatever, what's his name, the thing at the end, Eternatus, and then he's gonna be all the power source. It's like, where the fuck did that come from? I've been going around fighting these gyms. I'm trying to fight Leon, and then this freaking guy comes in out of nowhere. And even like what he was trying to do wasn't even that bad, right? Didn't he like want to?
Compared to Lusamine,
Right.
no. Like, not at all. Like, do you remember in Sun and Moon when you got to that like laboratory space and you saw all like the frozen Pokemon?
Yeah.
Who were, like, and you were just like, oh,
this shit fucked up.
Horrifying. You know, there was none of that. There was none of that.
But you know what? This freaking DLC freaking brought some of that shit.
Well, that's why I want to pause you without giving too much away. Because we're I figure we'll give another 5 to 10 minutes here. But tell me, how do you feel about Crown Tundra's story as a whole? Without giving away too much, maybe nuggets of spoilers if you need to.
Nuggets of spoilers.
You can give some nuggets, soft spoilers, what you believe to be soft spoilers.
Okay.
So that's an incoming warning, spoiler warning for anyone who's listening.
There you go. Everything to do with Calyrex, I really liked. The new legendary that they had come in. There's like if you haven't been paying attention to any of the news that's come out or any of the spoilers, there's like something they haven't told you necessarily that you'll have to deal with. It's not just Calyrex. You have to do a couple different things. I like how instead of just, giving you the mystery gift legendaries, they're actually having you go out and find them and do these missions to get them.
Tracking them.
Yes.
Like the footprints and shit. Yeah. I think that's cool stuff.
Footprints are great. To me, the legendary birds was probably my favorite part. I don't want to spoil it for you, but after you see that cutscene, you know that the 3 birds go in 3 different directions.
Yes.
So you could tell, kind of. I'm trying to fish your brain here.
There's a 4th direction.
Not necessarily, but there are 3 different.
There's 3 different hubs, 3
birds.
different maps.
Right. So now you have to chase them throughout. One's in one
Isle of Armor, one's Crown Tundra, one's base game.
Right. So now you have to go find them and then chase them down. And they all have their different ways of getting around the map. So I don't want to spoil it, but you know how Zapdos runs?
Yes.
You have to fucking really chase this fucking thing down.
That's so sick.
Yeah, man. Like, it's so cool. The Reggies are a lot of fun, too. The new ones are cool. I wouldn't say they're my favorite, but I think in terms of the 3 missions you get from Peony, the top one for me would probably be the birds, then Calyrex, and then Reggies.
Nice. I got one of the. I call one of the Reggies. I call one of the Reggies.
Yeah, Reggie Rock, Reggie Steel.
Reggie Rock.
Okay. What's really frustrating is that you can't get both of the new Reggies, so you can't do the last mission. So we might have to figure out a thing for because I got the dragon one, and then when I found out that you can't get the other one, I was really pissed off.
Yeah, I'm kind of sad. I would have preferred Reggie Dragon. I wish they kind of made that a little more clear.
Yeah. They don't tell you that until you go into that last temple, and they're like, once you get one, you can't get the other. It's like,
fuck, man.
It was that choice that was like, come on, I paid an extra $30 for this. Give me everything.
You can at least let me catch the fucking Pokemon.
Right. It's so frustrating. We ended up paying, think about it, like for this whole game, we ended up paying like almost $90 for this for the entire game. Give us the fucking content. Don't keep it away from us.
Yeah, no, that kind of sucks. You can only catch one Reggie.
And I get that they're trying to be like, oh, get the other game, try playing the other game, maybe you'll do it. Exactly. So what? I have to spend another $90 to get this other Pokemon? Fuck you. That's fucked up.
Dude, they're already like the most profitable franchise in the world.
Yeah, man.
A thank you every once in a while, like might be all right. Like
the highest grossing video game franchise of all time.
Dude, no, I think it's the highest grossing franchise of all time.
It might be.
In terms of profit, that's what it is. It's the most profitable. Because like Star Wars is technically grossed more, but Pokemon has a higher profit margin.
There we go. Which is insane could you imagine when you were a freaking little kid playing freaking Red and Blue that this shit would still be going on in your
something? My answer to that, David Freese, is yes. Because Pokemon used to be at the forefront. You used to play Pokemon and go, what? This is crazy. This is new. I've never seen this before. I always bring this up. But do you remember when you finished the Johto region in Gold and Silver and they were like, hey, there's all of Kanto. And you're just like, what? Two games in one? What's a post game? There was no post game in Resident Evil or Ocarina of Time. What is this post game? This is new.
And then they immediately dropped that in the next region.
then they hit cruise control.
It's going back to the gimmicks. They need to like keep some stuff. Like
I want a Pokemon game where I can travel between all regions. Give me the ultimate.
Never, ever, ever, ever going to happen. You know how much money they would lose if they did that?
Oh, probably a lot. Not if you paid. That'd be hilarious if they made you pay like $10 a region or 10 to 20 bucks a region.
Microtransactions in Pokemon? Get the fuck out of here.
Bro, if you gave me a whole region with the badges, I might do it.
Look, there are rumors that they're doing like a Pokemon Mega Collection for the Switch, which would be fucking incredible.
Now we're talking.
Because there are a lot of games where like I have Emerald, it just doesn't work anymore. You know what I mean? I have Heart Gold, and I played that recently, and that's probably the last time I'm going to play it because those cartridges like get fucked up after a while. You know what I mean? So I know sometimes when I put the game in, it doesn't register. If I like move it a certain way, it fucks up. So like it would be cool to be able to play those old games on a new system and be able to go through them all and enjoy
then throw them in the Pokemon home.
Right.
Yeah.
You could use those Pokemon like they did with on the 3DS with the Pokemon Bank. You could
Pokebank.
Right. You could do they had the virtual console of Gen 1 and Gen 2, so you could put those into your Pokebank and then transfer them over to something else.
Rock solid.
But nothing to me. I've played Crystal recently too, and those first animations you see when the Pokemon comes out and they like move a little bit, that still blows my mind to this day. Because I think those designs from Gen 1, Gen 2 are probably my favorite.
They're unbeatable.
In terms of those sprites, like they were so
crisp.
Even without moving, they were so expressive.
Expressive and crisp.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
And they look like, and I hate to say it, like the newer generations, some of those Pokemon don't really look like Pokemon, you know what I mean? They don't look like they can be interacted with, and there's a lot of missing and like ingenuity, I guess. I would definitely like to see going back to like those big eyes and big like like they're animals that you could possibly go out into the wild and see, you know?
Yeah. I'd like to see that too.
But they need to stop with these gimmicks. These one generation stupid, like ridiculous gimmicks. You had the day night come in that was so awesome in Gen 2, and then they abandoned it in Gen 3. And then Gen 3 you have
hideouts.
Right. Secret bases.
Gone.
Abandoned that for Gen 4. Gen 4 you had the distortion world. You had they had double battles, but when the hell was the last time you really got into a double battle in like the main campaign?
Yeah, I miss it. I definitely miss it.
And then just moving on and on, they introduced Mega Evolution, the seasons in Gen 5. They need to. They can't just start cutting content that people really like. And the problem is they have people in their pockets at this point. Like they have it. Like they can put out whatever they want, and that's where it's like history. If you have a monopoly on one thing, you're gonna give them the bare minimum and say, "Pay me the most money you can for it."
And like, I think what it's gonna take, because here's the thing: this game didn't have any trouble selling, obviously. But look, I'm sure Game Freak and Nintendo are conscious of people's complaints and people's legitimate grievances with the game.
I hope so.
I think what we'll show them is like, yes, you can half-ass the product and you're still going to get money.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go all this honestly will probably decide the future of Pokemon. If their next game they go all in and they do everything, or at least most of the things you and I talked about in this episode today.
Right.
If they can be shown that they make more money the more effort they put in, then they'll go, okay, half-ass product, half-ass profit. Still profit, still product, half-ass. But double down product, double down profit.
Exactly.
So here's the thing. If Pokemon really did go all in and gave us like a masterpiece level of a game, it doesn't even need to be a masterpiece. Just do a lot of the things you and I talked about here today. I'd be one of those guys who buy both versions. I'd be one of those guys who maybe I'd buy a new piece of Pokemon merch or something.
Right.
You know, I'd want to invest more into the product.
Right. If you could choose where you want to go, then you have, if you buy both games, then you could have a totally different
experience. And then, exactly. And then I'm less upset about only catching one Reggie.
Right.
But we're coming up on time here. I want to give you some time, give you a closing statement on Pokemon. Feel free to shout out your band if you want to. As always, there'll be links in the description for everybody if you want to listen to their EP or give them a follow.
Please follow, listen.
Funky as fuck, gang. Funky as fuck. You got to show them that sweatshirt. It didn't make it to the camera, but you got to show them. Look at that. There we go.
Funkadelic. One
nation under groove,
baby.
That's what I'm talking
about. I did my civic duty, voted yesterday. We're one nation, man. We got to do it. Got to do what you got to do. What else? Brown Sugar Blind Albinos. We're on Spotify, YouTube, Facebook. We don't have a Twitter yet, but we do have a Instagram. We probably should get a Twitter. What else? We're writing new music. Things are coming out now. Very, very soon. We have at least six new songs that are in the works.
Very exciting.
What's really cool is that, if, concerts ever come back and the logistics of that.
They'll be back, brother. I can't tell you when, but they'll be back.
We can, at this point, we have enough material to go the entire set without any covers.
Bro, your guys come back when they start booking live shows around us again. Because, like, you guys already packed the house on the Norm. When they open this shit back up and you guys can get out there and party, bro, you guys are going to light up the night.
Just want to party. I miss the stage so much. It kills me every day that, like, every week we go to practice and it's like, oh my God, we're doing such cool and we're playing such cool stuff.
You guys should live stream your practices.
That's not a bad idea. The issue is that it gets fucking loud.
I think people would just like even tuning in to see you guys go ape shit, even if the sound is shit. Like once in a while, it might be cool to tune in.
Yeah, that might be a good idea. We may look into that. If we could, just play a bunch of our songs live, that would be cool. I would love to do that kind of thing. The logistics would be kind of weird.
Well, if concerts coming back seems like it's a real far way away, I'll be happy to work with you guys and maybe figure out how to mic that up. Do it every once in a while. Why the hell not, right?
Yeah, just to give people something.
Yeah,
that's what I hate. Is that like we're stuck and we're writing all this stuff, but we don't really have an opportunity to go record it or play it somewhere.
All that means though is like those songs are going to be so tight and so well like rehearsed and written that it might end up being a blessing in disguise.
It may be. I'm very much hoping, and I'm very excited for everything we have. Very excited for the future of the band. Very excited for just playing again. I missed it so much during the quarantine.
Well, here's to the future. You know what I'm saying? I really believe it. I think we're headed into some beautiful days. But here's to the future. Here's to all of you. Here's to the sages of the lodge, like you yourself, Mr. David Freese. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you and your families are staying safe out there. And we'll catch you all on the next one. Peace out, y'all.
Have a good one, guys.